Morning, morning.
Hey, good morning, Arif.
Morning, Rod. Morning, everyone, and welcome to this busy Wednesday morning. Today's hump day. So life is not perfect. Plans don't always fall in place. I had a busy morning. I had to do some banking early, so I had to run to my bank. Crazy me, and come back and made it right in time. But we want to talk about purpose. Why did I run? Why do you wake up, Rod? Why does Maria wake up? Why does Carol wake up and go to work all day? We want to talk about purpose, something a little bit deeper. Because in all of our endeavors, all the things that we want to do, there's a motive. And the people who have a purpose are usually able to go through the stormy waters of life, through the problems, through negotiations, mainly with their own self. You know, people, I'm a little bit out of norm. I talk to myself. Yes, Rod.
I don't know if I'm getting some feedback. Your sound, I don't know if Maria's hearing it the same way. And I want to know why I didn't get the memo for the red uniforms today. You and Maria look brilliant in red.
Woohoo! So we got other things. My uniform is complete now.
I'm wearing the shirt you gave me.
Woohoo! Listen, this is called purpose. I run in this thing, and I don't want to talk about products right now. It's not about promotions. We're having a conversation. But, oh, Carol, you want to get engaged? Let's go. Unmute yourself. Let me know what's going on.
I just started wearing blue, like him. The top of the screen's blue.
So, yeah, one's got to hit. The host has got to be different, but maybe we'll different. So let me go back to philosophy of these colors. When I was in Iran 2 years ago, my father passed away. It was a very dark few months that I went through, and I was watching on satellite illegally this guy from USA who was Iranian, 77-year-old, very, deep philosopher, history, this and that. Every night he used to come on the show wearing a different shirt and tie. One day was red, yellow, all of these colors. He says, you know what, at my age, you have to brighten your own day. So I wear these clothes to brighten my own day. And it always stuck to me. So I always wear what brightens my day. But we can maybe colorize this. Right? There's so many possibilities. We need to find a major purpose behind our lives. I know I'm here to serve regardless of what happens in my business, in my personal life. I just love to help people. That's it, and that's all.
I love it. Arif, this morning, it was interesting. I was spending a lot of time yesterday in the thought process of one of my mentors, RJ. He says environment is stronger than will, and he always talks about setting yourself up for success. So yesterday was Tuesday, and every Tuesday I have the pleasure of working at my friend Dawn's. She's got this beautiful backyard. She calls it the Blue Lagoon Resort. And that's my Tuesday self-love day. It's like therapy, She's got a beautiful backyard and hot tub. And so what's funny, Arif, you said about purpose. Purpose is a great alarm clock. You get up, Arif, and you're running. You stay up, not late, but I mean, you go to bed with thoughts and visions of what you're doing tomorrow. Last night as I was doing my evening journal, and Carol was actually the VIP guest for Evening Journal last night.
Nice.
That'll be going out today. Here's what I wanted to tell you. I'll give it right back to you. It started a momentum. This environment is stronger than will. So now today, like when I got home last night, I redid my entire room, and it is all set up, the studio, that I don't have to touch anything. I literally came in, sat down. I don't have to plug anything on. I don't have to move anything. My whiteboard with my goals for today are right in front of me. How many dials, how many conversations, how much talk time, how many appointments am I setting for Adam, how many am I setting for myself? And Arif, I can visualize the entire day going as I created it last night, because preparation is key. Back to you.
As you say that, if I could turn my laptop around, Rod, you seen my office? I turned it into a studio. It looks beautiful. Has all of the camels displayed over there. I have visual lights here. I'm gonna put a board right behind here. Big light board that is going to say, yeah, exactly, the mission and the tagline. What's your story, my friends? We all have a story. We all want to tell that story. This environment you talked about, Rod, our connection goes beyond business, and I don't want you to forget that. We together created an environment with hundreds of people came just to see us perform like monkeys on the stage. But you know, it was all hype, right? I am trying to excite people at the time. Yes, sir.
It's funny you said that word perform. You know, I never really thought of it like that, but Maria even said to me, I think just this week, she goes, you know, when you talk, it's like you're on a stage. You talk like you're performing, like on stage. I said, I do? So, where does that come from for you?
It's having a major, definite purpose in life. And it took me 50 years to find this, I'll admit it. I was seeking, I was looking, I was under every rock. I've been bitten by every snake you can tell. You know, I have had so many disappointments in my life, but there was a driver inside of me that said, listen, let me put it in words of Jafar, who was the astrologer for the king of Iran, his family, okay, the Shah of Iran. He says, Arif, I want to be remembered 500 years from now. So how? All of these graveyards that are there, how are you going to be remembered? And he says, by serving others. Service to many leads to greatness. And the master servant himself said that. Yeah. See, when we're building a community, Rod, it's more than just hype. You are not in a stage here. You're sitting like me and you, just sitting behind the laptop. I can imagine, visualize Carol or Maria right now watching. We're friends. We're not on the stage. The stage is the next step. Yes, yes, yes. Pushing people up. See, what you learn through these videos, through these podcasts, through this program is yours. Man, take it and use it. I hope you got somebody yesterday and you hugged them so tight all the broken bones fell into right places. You know what I mean? I'm famous for that. I talk. This is a funny story. Nazila, whose movie is coming out, The Guardian Angel, dedicated her life saving street girls from prostitution and all of that. I hugged her so tight. She was, oh my God, you broke my rib. For 2 weeks she was in back pain. But she says, man, I'll never forget that hug. I'll never forget that hug. It was all passion. I don't suggest you hug anybody that tight, but I'm just telling you, hug them softly. Yeah. I'm just a little mountain guy to talk to the world here. Yeah, Rod.
I want to ask you, Arif, because I feel I got literally goosebumps right now in my arms as you're talking, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because of Maria and Carol. Here's what I'd like to do. Your topic today is purpose, and purpose-driven is a lot different than fear-driven. Like, a lot of people are going to work and they're, you know, it's like the golden handcuffs. They don't love what they do. They can't quit. They're exhausted from work emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. You tell them they need a side hustle, but they're just drained. They're bagged. And I would like to, if we could today, open this up to a Q&A. I would love Maria and Carol to ask you questions about how do you stay on purpose, Arif? You have stuff happen in your life that has set you back, but I don't want to ask any questions because I know we worked together for years, and when I hit my dark spot and I couldn't motivate myself, even though I used to motivate thousands of people, I couldn't motivate myself to get out of bed. Couldn't motivate myself to go and get in the shower, go 4 or 5 days without a shower, don't want to eat, don't want to do anything but sleep or watch Netflix or YouTube to numb myself. And we've all been there. So, Carol, I want to ask you, if you could ask Arif a question, knowing your circumstance, situation, what you're battling, and you got a guy here who, Arif, can you give a brief of your story? You know, the Reader's Digest version of, you know, in the caves and running and, you know, the one you used to tell on stage, but a shorter version
Okay,
And
let me
it's
see.
been a trigger for both Maria and Carol to have questions for you about staying on purpose in hard times. Carol, after Arif shares his story, you're first, and then I'd love to hear Maria's questions for you. But first, Arif, give our listeners that may be listening for the first time today, never heard you before, there's 4,000 of them that have downloaded. Who is Arif Gilani, and how did he get to be here saying this to us today? Arif, over to you.
I really appreciate and love that question, Rod. Most people think that their name, their nationality, their religion, their race, when we identify ourselves by those things, none of them were given to us. None of them were chosen by us. You didn't choose your name, Rod, did you? Did you choose your religion to be a Christian? Did you choose even your occupation? Most of the times people don't choose it. Why? Because circumstances like our definition of self is absolutely been lost in history. Rumi said it first. Then came all of the other gurus, Napoleon Hill and Jim Rohn and Bob Proctor and all of these people. See, our definition of who I am my goals, my dreams, my zone of genius, my creativity. That's who I am. But who is the person sitting here by recognition of society? I'm a Kurdish refugee, former Kurdish refugee who came to Canada with $64 in my pocket, and I slept the first week of my life in Canada in shelter on Front Street. And before that, I was victim of a war at 13. My jaw here was in a big cast for 2 years because our house was bombed in the war between Iran, Iraq, and the Kurdish people. I lived in Tehran for 10 years, got me very acquainted with the Persian culture, history, all of this. I was the victim of ridicule from the age of 8 to about 11 because my jaw was in a cast. Imagine walking around like that. You know that? In the big city that you don't even speak the language. So I found refuge in reading. I was a loner all my life. My family knows that. I was in the hospital bed for about 8 months and then spent a lot of time in seclusion, just tied up to all of these things that tie you up to put all of your body parts together. Came to Canada, $64. Long story short, but it's all in the books. The first book, The Mountains Are Calling, is a reference to when Kurds have troubles, they have no friends, so they run to the mountains. Like who? Like Moses did? Like Jesus did? Like Muhammad did? Like all the prophets did? Most people find refuge in seclusion to be able to get revelations to enlighten them to their purpose. So who's Arif Gilani? Yeah, long story short, that's my short version. I've created businesses with multi-million-dollar companies. I am a consultant. I'm an author. I love to speak on the stages around the world, and I've done that in Iraq, Turkey, Iran, Canada, US, and many other countries, London, England. Yes, I have done those, but that's nothing to compare to what we're just about to do here. Carol, mic is yours. Engage.
So I can identify. Everybody has their struggles to go through, and I find that certain people that have gone through the more of the challenges seem more wanting to help other people. So the challenges you've gone through, does that give you more drive? Is that what gets you up in the morning to help more people?
Great question. Carol, they say that you're best equipped to help those who've walked in their shoes. Okay? So if you've been through bankruptcy, you'll know the process of bankruptcy. If you know the process of, let's say you lost somebody, you can relate to the people. So I have been in so many shoes, I can relate to a lot of people. My friends and family are generous to send me a lot of love on social media. I'm very active on WhatsApp. And communication, they tell me their problems. And I'm forced to, compelled to, driven to, Carol, you're right. The more people you walked in their shoes, the more driven you are towards your purpose. and we can talk about that. Carol?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Carol. I don't want to guide Carol specifically, but Carol is a warrior, Arif. She's especially right now in the season, and I'm so proud of her. And just literally when I saw her name come in the room this morning, she reminds me a lot of Sherry. You remember when I was building Lloyd, Live Life on Your Terms, and it was really Carol was in a role of operation. She was actually COO of Lloyd, and just her I don't know how to say it. Sometimes people would accuse her. She's a little tough, and she'd be like, "No, that's just my British. That's just how I talk." But she's got a soft heart, Arif. And I would love for you, because we have 3 minutes before the commercial, and then I was going to open it up to questions and answers from Maria and Carol after the commercial. So Arif, can you give them 3 more minutes of, you had all of that you had to battle through, but people that don't know that story see you as this powerful energy. Like, I always saw you on stage, you would light up the whole room with your energy, but you still had memories of the darkness. So how did you compartmentalize everything you had been through, but to be this person that just loves people and smile and joy and help and service? How did you do that? Because a lot of people that are going to listen to this, they let their circumstances stop them, but you didn't. What can you offer Carol and Maria in that regard?
Wow, what great, powerful questions. I think, Rod, we're gonna have to change the setup of this show. Just have a conversation, Q&A, just on daily basis on a certain topic, because this is a really important topic. Today's topic is very rare. Nobody ever has a conversation about topic of purpose in high school, in university, in family settings. We don't talk about things like this, okay? So to have this topic of conversation, you can only do with a mentor, with a coach, with somebody, Carol, who has walked in those shoes. How do you stay on purpose? And people who are on purpose don't need an alarm clock. They just have this burning desire. You can put that there, burning desire. Maria, you gotta have that burning desire. Again, I look forward to speaking with you further, expanding our time together to make it more productive for everybody. Carol, you have a lot of skills, as Rod says, and you have a burning desire to do something, to find your purpose. I have a book for everybody who's passing by here, this studio. Come on out, let's have a conversation, let's have an interview. We have coffee, we have tea, we can have a conversation on your purpose. How do you stay on purpose? Let me go back, Rod, to your question since you're here, because I like participation. Through the power of repetition, you have to repeat to yourself the statement of your desire of purpose so many times until it becomes an automatic part of your repertoire, the way you think. Okay? So if somebody were to ask a question, you have a guiding light right here. This is where I'm going, this direction. And from that direction, you draw the answer of how. Right? So how do you get to that big goal, major, definite purpose? Is the topic of this show, really. You have to focus on 3 very important areas to have any purpose in life. 1, the area of your health. It's very important. That's why I'm so maniac about health. I've been through unhealth, and I see people with 1 leg and 1 feet, and once you lose a limb, then what happens to you? Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Listen here. I will always preach about health because it's in your hand. It's been proven that your health and happiness are very tightly connected, and you can do something about your health. For example, going for a walk, going for a run. Number 2, relationships. Man, do we suffer from relationship malfunctions and disasters and all of these stress and all of these relationships we don't know how to manage. We need to compartmentalize, like Rod said. You know, you love somebody. I told you this, the cure, 30-second hug, soft and nice. You do that every time. I guarantee you won't have any arguments and fights. Just love. You refill up your tank. Number 3, we're going to talk about money again. I don't really don't know how to mention and explain the importance of money, Rod, but Zig Ziglar beautifully said, right? This is exactly just air and then money, because you got to eat. After eat, what you got to do? You got to eat, right? It's not a hunting ground. I can't have my bow and arrow go hunt buffalo like the cowboys used to do, or in the olden days the Indians did. So I need money, and we're going to talk about the topic of money. Because your purpose can only be achieved through accumulation of money. Let me just say that too. You've never seen a beach bum who ever did any purposeful life. I don't remember the name of a beach bum in a history book, because I met some of them. Yesterday I had a great conversation with a friend who was lost in space. Iranian guy whose background is Chinese and German. I said, how the hell are you Iranian, Chinese, and German? When I come back from commercial, I'll tell you the story of the beach bomb, Rod. Give us a commercial. Who's our sponsors today?
We are going to take a quick commercial break. Don't you go away. You do never want to miss a story.